What's going on YouTube? Nathan back with another video presentation. The first of it, just foremost, I just want to take this real quick opportunity just to apologize to y'all for this coming out so late. It's been a long day. A lot to get into tonight. I'm going to talk about the Washington football team versus Carolina. A lot to get into tonight. I'm going to talk about the. Sorry about that. Washington football team versus Carolina. Baltimore. Not Carolina. Cincinnati. Excuse me. Baltimore versus Carolina. Some other take-arounds or takeaways of the other end of the games throughout the day. The Packers versus the Jets. Bears versus the Bills. So there's a lot of great football. We're also going to talk about the Baltimore Orioles, again, lost tonight. Washington Nationals. Washington Mystics. I have another topic I want to talk about tonight in terms of Shikari Richardson. Came in last place, so that's the topic I want to talk about. I'm going to revisit the Kevin Durant and Draymond Green interview. Summer League awards are out. Talk about the Washington Mystics. They lost to the Phoenix Mercury the other night. Excuse me, I apologize. And Elena Della Donne is back. So let's be tuned in as we get into episode 12 again. Do apologize if my energy level is just not the same. It's off a little bit. But come on, man, let's go to work.
First of all, listen, it's interesting about all these young guys today. They never call on us and say, hey, thanks for the kind word and telling me how great a player I am. But when they play like crap and we call them out, we don't know what we're talking about. Listen, I'm easy to find, but I get sick of these guys complaining. These young guys, they never call us and say, when a coach is wrong, I'm going to call him out. But when players are wrong, I'm going to call them out. But listen, I'm going to criticize guys that they deserve it. And listen, they can kiss my ass if they don't like it.
First topic we're getting into, y'all. Like I said, welcome. Before we get started, I've had a couple people ask me, do I watch wrestling? Whatever. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of wrestling anymore. I stopped watching the WWE, and I don't watch AEW. I don't watch them. I just don't. I've outgrown wrestling. The last time I watched wrestling was well over a decade ago when I was in high school. So, no, for those that wonder, do I watch it? I don't watch wrestling. Episode 11, I didn't forget to upload that on Spotify and via Anchor. Just be patient with me. That'll be uploaded along with episode 12 of the podcast tomorrow. As I said, season 3 will debut on the week opening tip for the NFL season. Season 3 of my podcast will start. Again, if you're enjoying the content that you're seeing and you want to see more like this, first and foremost, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Considering that subscribe button, you want to give me your thoughts, different suggestions to talk about on the podcast. You're more than welcome to do that. So, we're gonna start with football. So, the Washington football team versus the Carolina Panthers Friday night was actually a good game. A couple things I took away from it. The one thing I that kind of awestruck me, not awestruck, but that kind of stood out in the press conference I was watching, Ron Rivera talked about his defensive coordinator, Jack Del Rio, made a number of calls that he said he wouldn't do during the season. I'm not really sure what he meant by that. I'm not sure if it's due to, I felt like I think the real, in my personal opinion, made some of those calls because I think he wanted to see how they could handle the stress in a situation. For example, I think it was Brandon. Who was at a press conference? It was Brandon St. Just. I know he talked about the DBs playing off coverage on the three. Was it like 3 and short? Sometimes it was like a 3 and 5 or a 3 and 4. And to see what the front seven could do, I kind of made that kind of makes sense to me. But I think it's all about really kind of seeing how the adjustments what Durant could do. But I kind of got it, but I wasn't really sure if Ron was saying that it's not really the best time to really do it, or he feels like some of the guys on the front seven can't handle that pressure. That's one thing that stood out for me. Look at my notes here. Peyton Barber definitely was who Rivera has said is his short yard specialist. Was on the bench. It was a 2nd and 1, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, and gave Antonio Gibson the ball. So, which made sense because I think it was more to see if Ron Rivera could and Antonio, on those potential drives, on those potential like 2nd and 1, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, can Antonio Gibson get the first down? And I don't know if this is also to see. I mean, I think Peyton Barber's going to make the team for sure. The one thing I will say this is about Antonio Gibson, he does hesitate a lot. And I'm not sure if he's not. I'm not sure. I think a lot of it has to start with the offensive line, and when the offensive line creates holes for you, and yes, that's what she said. You gotta. I think it starts with the offense. So I think he hesitates when trying to find a lane or trying to cut through. Now it was really there was a 4th down play where I thought he did well, but he just didn't. To me, it's not always about the big yards. It's about him getting him converting on that 4th down play, which was good to me. That was on my notes. Jarrett Patterson, who did have an impressive first game, came in led the team to Friday night with 70 yards. Did really well. It was only in the second half, though. I don't understand why the bulk of the running backs, the work came in the 4th quarter. But I mean, Cincinnati's defense really wasn't that great, in my opinion. He had a rushing touchdown. Patterson had 71 yards and 25 receiving yards. I mean, I think Jarrett Patterson too. I mean, it's tough. He's having a great year. I mean, great preseason so far. His first 2 games. I think he'll make the team as well. It's tough. It's tough. And there's also a couple. He had a kickoff return for 37 yards. And it was a really good. It was an impressive run as well. It was really good. Now I'm not going to go as far as I will say. I'm not going to go as far as saying is he going to be the starter over Antonio Gibson. I think he'll probably be. He'll make the team, but he's not. I don't see him competing as a starting job with Antonio Gibson. That's just my opinion. I noticed from the defensive side of the ball for Washington, William Jackson didn't play due to a minor injury, but I know in the press conference, Coach Rivera said that it was a coaching decision not to start Kendall Fuller. Well, I mean, I would like to see some play in this last upcoming preseason game. I would like to see them get out there. I really like to see the starters. I would like to see what they're going to do. Now, like I said, I think Brandon St. Jude, our 3rd round pick, definitely made some great plays in the first quarter. There was one we played good coverage on T. Higgins. on it was a fade route, really good coverage, and then Jamar Chase. That was really he played some really good defense on Jamar Chase. It was a third down slant. It was interesting. Jamar Chase had 3 drops. Brandon did really well. I will say that. Jimmy Moreland. I had to go back and look at the highlights. They had him in the slot because he went to James Madison University. I had to do my Googles and did really well. He picked up I forgot who it was. I think it was a pick play they tried to run, and he picked because he picked it up, which is really great. Yeah, like I said, Landon Collins also played a role in that. Like I said, Jamar Chase had 3 drops, and I think he got scared of the Landon Collins. So, from what I'm understanding from Ron Rivera and other sources I've been reading, he's coming to camp looking really great in shape and ready to play. I know last year he missed the second half of last year with an Achilles, and I know he's he's getting back there. It's just it comes slowly. He's just got to give it time. So Landon Collins is going to be all right for Washington. Trust me. And again, the quarterbacks. I personally think that I think the quarterback competition is still open, in my opinion. While I do believe it's going to be Fitzmagic starting, Kyle Allen, he had it was 11th in my notes here, 11-13 just for 80 yards. Tyler Heineke didn't really do much, to kind of separate himself. But I still think, in my personal opinion, the backup job is still up for grabs. And I will say this: I'm not sure what it was. It's not easy when you're playing with second, third, fourth stringers. There was one offensive possession where he almost saved a turnover, but I feel like he was doing way too much. I don't know what that was all about. Hold on real quick. I told y'all my boy Eric Flowers, it will be the starting left guard. That's no disrespect. He's just I like Wes Schweitzer. Yes, he did play well all 16 games, and even though he started 13 of them, I did my Googles again on that. Football from Pro Football Focus, he received a 69% blocking grade, committing 2 penalties and just allowing 5 sacks over 990 snaps. Because that first group, it was Charles Leno, Flowers, Chase Royer, Brandon Shitliff, and Sam Sheriff and Sam Costin. That actually might low-key be your starting offensive line for sure, in my personal opinion. Because again, Eric Flowers to me coming out of college was a great left guard. I just think that each player blossoms different. To me they do. He was in Miami not last year, but 2019, and I just see him starting. The only thing, again, just to another quick recap, my only concern is just the running backs. I cannot see you keeping 4 running backs. I really can't. Jarrett Patterson has had a great first 2 games, but it would be tough if you're. It's truly tough. I really can't see who you could cut. Sean Spencer, shout out to Sean Spencer from Let's Talk Football and also Washington Football Weekly. But he would be good to get his opinion on that, because that'd be tough to really keep four running backs on a roster. Again, like I said, the first team, the offense, like I said, it looked okay, but definitely got to sync. Kind of want to break down some more of it. I don't know what it was. Ryan Fitzpatrick really didn't have. There was one possession. I forgot to write the timestamp on the game what possession it was, but he almost threw an interception. That was insane. Dustin Hopkins, he had a bounce back game. He was 3 for 3. He had one from 34 and 2 from 31. I think it was kind of pretty good that Riverboat Ron held the entire special teams unit. And when a coach does that, holds them accountable, so that makes you better. So that gives you the opportunity, okay, we need to go back out here. We got to work. And definitely work. And they definitely redeemed themselves. Like I said, one thing that I took away from this game, and maybe Sean Spencer will talk about this on his show, their punt return team, our punt return unit didn't get much shine. I didn't get to see like where the progression was. I could be wrong. I thought it was Danny Johnson. I think he only had like a 37-yard return, and then DeAndre Carter only was like less than 10 yards. And then I don't know what Steve Sims was doing on that punt return. That was bad. He only had one return for 16 yards. That was bad. I feel like with Jamin Davis, I think Washington's limiting his reps. I could be wrong, but I'm not sure what that's all about. I'm not sure. So we have one more preseason game, and that is against who? The Baltimore Ravens. I apologize. I got to fix that. It should say Cincinnati, not Carolina. Hold on, let me fix that. I apologize. There we go. Cincinnati, not Carolina. I apologize. So that's what we play next on the 28th. I-95, Battle of the Beltway. So I'm hoping actually Sean Spencer and I will collab on that. Break down the game from Baltimore and Washington's perspective. So that's gonna look out for that. So that's the last week, ladies and gentlemen. So if you remember, because they added on the 17th game, they're taking away a preseason game. So I'm hoping that the starters will get some playing time. I do want to kind of point this out, and I'll talk about this real quick. I'm actually going to say that after I talk about the Ravens versus Carolina Panthers recap. So I'm going to hold that thought. The Carolina Ravens, once again, doing their thing. Now 19-0 in the preseason. That's the longest. That's tying Vince Lombardi's Green Bay Packers. What was that, from 1959 and 1962? Lamar Jackson Jr., yes, had a great game. 24 of 34, had 187 yards. Yes, he did have an interception. Yes, his name is Lamar Jackson Jr., ladies and gentlemen. Lamar Jackson Sr. did not play because Trace McSorley is out for the rest of the preseason with a back injury. I like the confidence they're giving him, but the only thing is he's still got to work out some kinks. I think his decision making can be better. One thing that I took away from it was a couple things. Our defense, the defense looked really good tonight. Before I'll say this: the first half was very, very slow. We didn't get a point in the first quarter. The first 4 drives, Carolina was able to get in the Ravens' territory. But out of all 4, they managed to just come up with a 41-yard field goal. Our defense, man. I'm not saying it's the best. I'm not going to say it's, oh my gosh, be afraid. But these boys are bringing it. I'm looking at Patrick Queen, where he stuffed what was his name, Hubbard at the 1-yard line. That was a great play. That was on the 3rd and goal. Deshaun Elliott, the Panthers went forward, and then Deshaun Elliott read that play perfectly. Our goal line defense really stepped up when it was needed. The only thing, again, it was the first quarter. Still in the first quarter. Let me make sure I have it. I had it right here. I apologize. The only thing, like Chuck Clark, he forced a fumble. Yeah, but unfortunately, Carolina got the ball back. Deshaun Elliott had 4 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, and then a sack. I think Chuck Clark and Deshaun Elliott, ever since Earl Thomas was here in Baltimore, I felt like that wasn't a smart move, in my opinion. But I understood the signing of Earl Thomas, and I feel like Chuck Clark and Deshaun Elliott are going to be a backfield that needs to be respected. Some other things I took away from it: we held the Carolina Panthers to 189 yards total, and that was just 18 alone in the second half of the quarter. We only committed 1 penalty, which shows tremendous discipline on our end. Carolina was 2 of 11 on 3rd down opportunities. Again, like I said, we were only recorded 2 sacks, and the Panthers only had 8 first downs. Again, it just really shows me that the defense under Martindale, and this defense is going to be something where it needs to be, again, it needs to be respected. I know it's going to be respected. I know everyone talked about the lack of a pass rusher, but I'm seeing a lot of guys step up in areas that are areas of concern. Now, LJ Ford did get hurt in the second quarter. He didn't come back, so probably by Monday, we'll probably hear in the press conferences how he's doing. He probably won't play against Washington. He'll probably set that game out for sure. But those are the type of things I took away from it. Now I will say this: the third running back, third position, McCreary, Tyshawn Williams, Justice Hill. That is going to be an interesting battle. I got to see how this last game looks. I don't see Justice Hill. She hasn't shown me anything at all. It's going to be tough. Excuse me. Because Wednesday, next few weeks, we got to trim this roster down to 853. We're at 85 right now. And some great players. Same thing with Washington, some great players. But it's going to be tough. Now, I will say this. I was really hoping, I would have liked to see Duvernay and Poche get a little bit. I had to look at the box score. Poche only had 6 yards for total. I don't know what this is. Even though he's been getting praised in training camp, I'd have liked to seen him get some more touches than that. That can't happen. Like I said, I think Duvernay Poche, you got to give them opportunities to eat. You have to give them opportunities to eat. And like I said, I'm just really proud of this. These guys looking really, really good so far. My only concern is, and this goes into my next topic, is these injuries. Preseason, yes, is, injuries are part of the game. I understand that, but we're already seeing some injuries, and that's alarming to me, because I hate to say it, but I feel like when somebody goes down, like for example LJ Ford, we know this next man up, but when you lose a guy in preseason, that's tough. So my biggest fear, and I was watching Washington Football Weekly, the same thing with Abs, who's one of the members of the show, said it too, is injuries and during the preseason. And it's just, for me, we're already 2 games into the season, the preseason, and guys are already going to IR. That's alarming to me. I know for the Ravens, for example, they had to put Iman Marshall and Khalil Dorsey. Now, I think both of them will, especially Iman Marshall. He just can't stay healthy. And it's sad, and he's a great player, but the best thing about, is availability. And she has a bit shown that. The other thing I'm not really fond of are these joint practices, these fights. I know that the Oakland Raiders, I'm not calling them Las Vegas Raiders, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not doing that. The Oakland Raiders, Jarrett Harbaugh actually had to told the guys to go on the bus. It's just, listen, I understand being out there it's like 90, it's 80 plus degrees, it's humid. It's part of practice, it's part of the game. Yeah, it's going to get a little physical, but I look at the the league as like a brotherhood, and to see like all these fights occur, like the Ravens and the Panthers had one where it was J.C. Horn and Marcus Peters were getting into it. Somebody from the Giants and the Browns, I can't think of who it was on top of my head. I'm not a fan of that. Now we can say it's part of football, but it's all fun and games until somebody gets hurt. And I think there needs to be a reminder of that this is a brotherhood. This isn't this is not a boxing or MMA league. Again, I understand it. It's going to get physical. It's going to get the practices. And I feel like also too, this is a good opportunity for them not to take it out on each other. The Browns versus the Browns, or the Giants defense, Giants offense, taking it on other teams. That's great. And I think that the joint practices, though, I kind of feel like it's a little of an unfair. I kind of feel like it's an advantage, a disadvantage at the same time, because you're kind of getting a preview of what the team looks like. But I'm cool with it. But the amount of fights that have been occurring, it is a bit too much for me. Some other things I took away from today. Yes, I gotta shout out Nick Rosario, the Mitch Trubisky revenge game. Mitch Trubisky returned to Chicago. This man completely shitted on the. Excuse me, let me not do that. This man came back to Chicago and sent y'all a message. My man's had 221 yards. They were dubbed in the first quarter. It was 28-0 until Andy Dalton threw it was a 73-yarder on a basically helmet catch. Listen, you know what? In all seriousness, though, I feel for Mr. Trubisky. I feel like he's gotten a bad rep. I understand it didn't work in Chicago, but this is the same organization that just drafted Justin Fields. I think a lot of it, when you take into consideration with Mitch, when you have 3 offensive coordinators in the 4 years you were there, something's up with that. I know he didn't live up to expectations to what Chicago's front office wanted and the coaching staff, but I think to squarely, in my personal opinion, this is my opinion, to just throw him under the bus like that and just move on from him, even though he's gotten you to the playoffs twice, he's played a role. I know that defense is not getting any younger, but to see him in another team, I think it's a breath of fresh air for him. It's a good start because Josh Allen didn't play today, and I felt like, okay, he's not going to play. So this is definitely me. I'm sending a message like, yo, that's how you feel about me, because I think when the comments he was making, it feels good that I'm appreciated. I'm just basically paraphrasing that quote. I'm basically saying during this time for Chicago, he didn't feel appreciated, and that says more about me, about the Bears, than anything. Another thing I took away from this game, Matt Nagy is still committing to Andy Dalton. I don't know why, in my opinion. I think Justin Fields needs more reps. I think, Jammer, what's good, bro? What's good? I definitely think there was one play today where he got damn near his head his head damn near taken off by Andre Smith. That offensive line was poor. That was poor protection. He didn't even see it coming. It was on his blind side. That's blind side. Well, on his right, from the right, he was looking this way, and he didn't see it coming. Now, David Montgomery didn't play. Damian Williams did start, but he didn't do much. He only had only had 8 yards. That was disgusting to look. This Khalil Herbert kid, Khalil Herbert, watch out for him. I think he could definitely be a steal. One Nathan Snell's biggest fan. Okay, what's good? What's going on? A picture of Klay Thompson? That's tough. Where was I? Yes. I feel like Justin Fields could definitely get some more work, and for sure. Jets beat the Packers 23-14. Corey Davis, I think he's going to have a good year in New York, in my personal opinion. Leaving Tennessee. Zach Wilson had a great game. He completed 11 passes. The only thing is with Corey Davis, I'm not really sure what. I felt like maybe it was the system in Tennessee that didn't work for him, in my opinion. So I'm kind of curious to see in Mike LaFleur, that's offensive coordinator for the Jets, how he'll look. But I think he'll be okay. I think Corey Davis will be all right. This Kalen Hill, I think, will definitely be the number 3 running back. I've been your biggest fan. I've been here since episode 1. I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Where was I? AJ Dillon didn't. Well, AJ Dillon did start. He only had I can't remember off the top of my head, but Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon, Kraylin Hill. Like the only thing is Patrick Taylor had 40. He did have 48 yards, but he fumbled the ball. Real quick, fun fact. I saw this on Twitter. Zach Wilson was 9 of 11, 128 passing yards, 2 touchdown passes, a 154.7 pass rating against Green Bay. That marks anything higher than Sam Darnold in a single preseason game with the Jets from 2018 to 2019. Ouch. Have you seen the episode of Chips with Draymond? Yes, I saw that. I talked about that in the last episode, Jammer. Sean, what's good, bro? What's going on, sir? The Miami Dolphins. Now, I will say this. This is one team in the AFC that I'm going to pay attention to because of Tua. I think, just me, I think Tula's going to have a good year. They drafted him for a reason. They see potential in Tua. I think he has the tools to be a good quarterback. I think, in my personal opinion, I think there was this expectation to him to just take over like that. And it doesn't work like that, in my opinion. And I think the way how they handled Ryan Fitzpatrick, him saying, well, we're going to bench you in favor of Tua, I thought that was unfair. Now, there was a couple of things I think Miami lacked. They definitely lacked, and they need to learn how to close games, especially in the fourth quarter, in my opinion, which is something I think that I've seen that they'll improve in. But I kind of want to see, are they going to how they're going to critique Tua now that he is the guy. He's the starter for Miami. So this is it. I think he'll be fine. Nothing that stood out to me. Matt Ryan didn't play. AJ McCarron didn't play. The only thing is Felipe Franks out of Arkansas. He's a good little quarterback. He got sacked 4 times, but nothing really that swept you off their feet. The final score was 37-17. Nothing really got me off with that one. So, like I said, the next week's the last week for preseason. Y'all let me know your thoughts. What do you think is going to be the who you see representing the AFC? Who you see representing the NFC in the Super Bowl? Y'all let me know your thoughts. So I'm going to step away from baseball. I'm going to transition into baseball. Baltimore Orioles have now lost 17 in a row. Disgusting. I don't know what else I can say. So it's the second longest in our club's history. We're behind the 1988 team. We lost 21. We're tied with the Seattle Mariners. They lost 17 in a row. That was back in 2011. And we're tied with the Arizona Diamondbacks this year for the most losing record for as far as losing streaks. I mean, I get it, but then I don't get it. I just feel bad for Brandon Hyde. They just have no. It has no help, nothing to work with. This team is just terrible. I get it. Michael Elias is playing. I think the Angelos are sold onto it. I'd say give it another year or so. I think Baltimore will be able to compete. But oh my God, it's just getting really fun. It's getting really hard. It's been hard to stomach these games. I'm glad we only got really honestly a month left. We lost to the Braves. I know we're going to get swept tomorrow, so it doesn't make a difference. Brian Mountcastle hit his 20th home run on the season. Actually, it was ironic. It was 1 year ago he made his debut. So, for what it's worth, Ryan Mountcastle is a part of this team for sure. What else? Matt Harvey didn't have a great. He had an okay game. He didn't even last 5. He didn't even last 4 innings. He got the first 2 outs in the 5th, and then Austin Riley. That happened, of course. I mean, he did well in the 6th. I mean, he gave us a chance to win, but again, I don't know. And then we put Jorge Lopez into the bullpen, so I'm not sure what that's all about. Well, I know what it's about, but excuse me. Anywho, I apologize. Yes, I mean, final score 5-4. Pedro Severino, I don't see him sticking here as much longer. I don't. He struck out on 4 pitches. That was embarrassing to watch. That at bat, and then Anthony Santander, who's really kind of had an up and down year, hit a home run. And then in the 9th inning, we just gave up. So I don't really know what else to say. I mean, the only thing is with Jorge Lopez, his velocity has dropped. He only lasted 2 innings against Tampa Bay, and this whole season he's just been up and down, up and down. DJ Stewart, I know, has been dealing with some knee soreness. So I don't see him playing at all. I got to stop talking about the Orioles because my head's starting to hurt. The Washington Nationals actually made me feel a little better. They got the game 1 against the Milwaukee Brewers 4-1. The only thing was Patrick Corbin actually did well. You know, he didn't going into this game. He's been winless in his 6 starts. You know, he had an ERA. I looked at my notes. ERA of 7.8. He's walked 10, 27 strikeouts, and he's allowed 10 home runs this year. And again, like, he's not. I don't know. When they signed him from Arizona, I'm not sure what the expectation was of him. I feel like they paid him like a number one starter. That's just my opinion. You know, again, they did really well. I mean, he retired, you know, on 80 pitch. He pitched 80 pitch. He had a total 80 pitches. Particularly, what stood to me was in the 7th inning where he battled Eduardo Escobar for 11 pitches, and then he gave up the solo home run of AV. I call him AV Garcia. You know, Patrick Corbin, 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 7 Ks. Not bad. Brett Anderson didn't do too bad. Coming into this game, you know, against the Nationals, he's unbeaten in 5 starts with an ERA of 1.4, 4 walks, 13 Ks. You know, 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. I like Lane Thomas. He's like Trey Turner, but definitely I like the opportunities that he's getting for sure. He definitely had a couple good at bats. He was 2 of 4 tonight because he got called up. The Nationals, again, They're now 53-68. They're in rebuilding mode for sure. But just watching them, seeing them play more than the Orioles is, to me, better because the Orioles stink. I'm going to stick with baseball real quick. There was a topic I wanted to talk about. So there was most people, if you don't know about this, there was a pitcher for the Anaheim Angels. His name was Tyler Skaggs. He died of a drug overdose a couple years ago. And an employee for the Angels came out and said that there are 5 players that will testify against him for giving them fentanyl-laced drugs. Crazy. I really don't know what to really how to really make of that. So the guy's name is Eric Key. He's a former director of communications for the Angels. He was described as a singular source for oxycodone pills for some players as far as back as 2017. He allegedly supplied some players with 2 to 3 pills, while others would ask up to 20. My God. Tyler Skaggs was found dead back in 2019 at a hotel, and it's really scary, and it's really kind of says a lot about who we work with. I'm surprised a guy of that and that kind of position would do something like that. Because I just, it's just crazy. It really is, and I think it's sad because Tyler Skaggs was a great pitcher for the Angels, and I didn't know about it. I'm thinking like maybe he had like I heard about maybe thinking he had like a heart attack, or maybe he wasn't feeling well. I don't know. And then when it came out that he a drug overdose, I'm like, what? So this guy is going to go to jail, and I think it says a lot more about their ownership. And if I was a free agent, I would not play for the Anaheim Angels. I just wouldn't play for them because they're a team of what have you done for me lately? I feel like Mike Trout is a great ball player, but I feel like he'll never win in Anaheim. That's just my personal opinion. But I'm going to step off that and transition to basketball. I'm going to revisit the Kevin Durant and Draymond Green interview real quick. A friend of mine reached out to me. He said, you did a really good job talking about the interview, but there's a couple of things there's a couple of points that I would like you to go back and look in the interview. So I did. And we chatted, and he was like, go back to the part where he talked about the Clippers. And he said, you let me know what's wrong with it. And I said, well, he's talking about his experience as he's still with Golden State. And he asked me, he said, do you think it's appropriate to talk about the team that still writes your checks, call them out like that? And when he told me that, I had to think about it, because I'm like, I didn't know how to put it at first. When he said that, it made sense to me. Hey, Draymond, that Kevin Durant can say those things. not you. In this sense, because the Golden State Warriors are still writing your checks. Now, he has his opinion of how he feels about everything. That's his opinion. I'm not taking anything away from Draymond about it. But I think also, too, he said, listen to what they're saying. Notice how they're throwing Steve Kerr and Bob Myers under the bus. Hey, Lucinda, how are you? Good to see you. And I said, well, yeah, it's not fair that they threw Bob Myers and Steve Kerr under the bus, but Sean Livingston and DeMarcus Cousins, Andre Iguodala didn't get called out. They should have called. There should have been some kind of conversation in the locker room, because I do believe when you call somebody a bitch, that's what Draymond called Kevin Durant. You go look at the video, call him the bitch. That's I don't know if you got 1 foot in or 2 feet out. And when I said that, he gave me a different perspective on it. I totally get where he's saying the Warriors are to fuck it up. But I'm looking more, and my point was those around him. That was it. Because I'm like, well, if y'all act like nothing happened, if that's how Steve Kerr felt, that's one thing. But to not say anything about Iguodala, DeMarcus Cousins, I don't know how to take that. I don't know how to take that. But they weren't wrong, and they weren't wrong in the interview. I liked it. But I think it really honestly, truthfully lets me know, I think, where Draymond is with the Warriors. I don't see him coming back. I don't see him staying in Golden State. I think that relationship's severed too, in my personal opinion. So Rajon Rondo, I don't really see him saying what they're saying. He's not, that doesn't want to stay with the Grizzlies. I really would like to see him with the Washington Wizards, in my opinion. But I have a feeling he wants to go to a contender, win a championship. He should still be with the Clippers. I don't know what that's about, but it's a business. Paul Millsap, the Warriors, and the Nets are interested in signing him. Again, the schedule came out for the 75th season of basketball. Wow. 75 years. Makes me feel old. That's really only that stood out, but other than besides, everyone's kind of been on Madden talking about their ratings. The Summer League awards, well, not awards, but Summer League teams were announced. So this All Summer League's first team, not surprising, representing the Atlanta Hawks, Jalen Johnson, the Sacramento Kings, Donovan Mitchell, Trey Murphy III from the New Orleans Pelicans, Peyton Pritchard for the Boston Celtics, Jalen Smith, former Maryland Terrapin, Cam Thompson, Brooklyn Nets, and Obi Toppin for the New York Knicks, who I think is going to have a lot. Just watch out for Obi, I'm telling you. And then the second team, Kate Cunningham, Luke Garza, Jalen Green, Paul Reed, and then Patrick Williams. Damn, I wish we would have got Luke Garza, but that's okay. Now I'm at this list. The Summer League goes by really fast. It's only 4 games. But I would say honorable mention, I would consider LiAngelo Ball for sure. I felt like he could have got some consideration. This Summer League, what I took away from it, these boys are ready to play ball. I wish them all the best. I can't wait to see some of these guys when the season starts. Definitely. The first 3 picks. I think Kate Cunningham is my rookie of the year. But season is not the award is not written on paper. Washington Wizards, I feel like, can still make a move. I just don't really know where Bradley Beal is at committing wise. I don't, and I think we got to make a choice. Are we going to contend or are we going to rebuild? But I feel like we got pieces around him, so I'm hoping that it's enough to make him stay. As his wife went off on Ronnie 2K that he's only an 89 overall. He should be, in my opinion, on 2K at least a 90 because the man averaged 31. I don't get it, But again, like that's why I don't really play 2K like that anymore because especially like for a man to average 31 points and not really get the respect I believe he deserves. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. So again, I already talked about Summer League awards. Well, before I get into this, the Mystics losing again. The WNBA trade deadline was today, and no trades. I was surprised. The one thing that stood out to me was Kennedy Carter from the Atlanta Dream. I don't know that with that fiasco in Atlanta, this is still kind of hard to process that. I was hoping she'd get traded, but I guess it lets me know that she's going to stay with them for the remainder of the season at least. She's currently suspended due to conduct detrimental to the team. So she's been suspended since the 24th. And she hasn't played since then. So I don't know what that's all about. But somebody got to go in Atlanta because with Ari McDonald, which I feel like that was just, I don't know why. I feel like she should be in a different situation than that. Tiffany Hazel will come back next year. When you have your Nikki Cohen leaving at least 2 weeks before the season starts to be head coach at Baylor, and then Mike Peterson, who was an assistant for Cheryl Reeves, is out the blue, stepped down. Hey, Channing. Good to see you. Thank you. I appreciate the support. Thank you. Golden State Warriors most accessible to a late offseason trade. I agree with that. That's a good one. I could agree with that. But with the Atlanta Dream, I don't. They gotta figure it out. I was really kind of expecting a trade, and nothing really happened at all. The only thing that stood out to me was Shyla Heal, who's again another first round pick, a lottery pick, free agent. She should be on the WNBA roster, but I don't get that. I'll talk about that. I'll talk about this topic, Major League Baseball with the salary cap. I'll do that in the next episode. That's okay. Washington Mystics lost again. What a way to end the road trip. Lost to the Phoenix Mercury, man. I don't really know what to really say. Well, first and foremost, congratulations to Brittany. The White Mamba, Diana Taurasi. She reached the first to reach 9,000 points and 2,000 assists. That says a lot about her game. Definitely a first ballot Hall of Famer. Without a shadow of a doubt. One of the best in the game, for sure. Brittany Griner, the third player in WNBA history to reach 700 blocks. Myisha Hines, I'll give her credit where it's due. The Brittany Griner, she had 10 points attacking inside on Brittany. But again, scoring. Like I don't know what to say. I gotta pull the box up real quick. I apologize. It randomly just closed. I don't know why I did that. But I'm hoping that this road trip is actually a turnaround, because to blow a 21-point lead and then lose to the same team the next night, it just, I mean, again, Tina Charles led the team in scoring. Many times down was the second highest scorer. Inconsistent. I don't know what you're going to do with it's just something has to give about this team. It really does. I cannot emphasize this enough. I mean, 27% from the field, 21% from three. It just like it's inconsistencies. It did, in the first half from Phoenix, Brittany Griner had 20 points in the first half, and we led by 12. Even Sophie Cunningham had a jumper at the buzzer before halftime and cut it down to 5. And they took in the third quarter, it was like 4 minutes and 50 something seconds in the third. That's when the game was over. I don't know what to. I like him. He's a really good ball player. I like him. I don't like it. I honestly and truthfully, I don't like it, because once again, when you have, and this is what is disturbing. Okay, Brittany Griner had 30 points. Okay, who was the second highest scorer? Skylar Diggins had 17. Phoenix didn't really have they shot 51% from the field. They committed 18 turnovers. Even though they out-rebounded us 44 to 34. Inconsistent. Another classic example of inconsistencies. Yes, Ray Allen's going back. He got a head coaching job at the Miami Prep School for sure. Jason Terry got a head coaching job for a G League team. So I really like this. I kind of see Ray Allen being like an assistant in the NBA soon. I would like to see that for sure. However, I will say this: there is just a little spark of hope for for my Mystics. No, I'm just kidding. I'll let Coach T. I'll let him talk to you. Let me share the screen. Because when I saw it, my mood from today really changed.
Tomorrow will be the first time in 2 years where I can say it's probable that everybody will play. So, yeah, that's a good news.
She's back. Elena Della Donne is probable to play tomorrow against the Seattle Storm, y'all. Listen, she hasn't played a game since August 2019. She's recovered from 2 back surgeries. Listen, Della Donne is the main piece of this championship team from 2019. We got her in a trade for Kalia Cooper and Steffi Dolson. This team goes as far as Della Donne takes it, and with Tina Charles here, I definitely think it's just a different dynamic. I'm really disappointed to really see how the team looked this year. I still think the Mystics will make the playoffs. I just don't think I think there'll be at least a first round, if not second round exit, in my opinion, because I'm looking at this squad and they're going to have to really fix some things. They're going to. I'm telling you, I'd say the most disappointing player on this team, without a shadow of a doubt, is Natasha Cloud. I don't know where the Natasha Cloud from 2018, 2019 is at. I really don't. UNC basketball, 5-star recruit officially eliminates Tar Heels from list. Ooh, that means they'll probably go to Duke, Baylor, Oregon. They'll probably pick one of those schools. It's kind of, that's why I'm not really. I hate that they know what the schools they're going to pick, and I'm not sure if I feel like it's. I don't know how what makes them choose. Like what are they looking for? They're looking for in the recruitment. They're looking like for the best coach. They feel like they need to start. I don't know what that's about. Former Guardian NBA. I talked about this in that last episode, Lucinda. I talked about that. Christy Tolliver is an assistant coach for the Dallas Mavericks as well. But we got everybody back. And again, I know this year it's been a rough year with injuries and again, like Alyssa Clark's not here. She's out for this season because she got foot surgery. But I'm glad that Elena's going to be back out there on the floor. It makes me feel a little better because I think it really tells me I don't want to say like what she's doing is not, it's smart. But I said it before and I'll say it again. I said it in a video. I think it was like 7 or 8 and I said when she comes back, this team's going to go off. And again, they're 8-13. They're half a game out from a playoff spot. We're down to what now? 10 games. So we have 11 games left, and I feel like when she comes back, I think everybody will be at their natural positions. But we got to evaluate some of these guys, though. We really do. Oh, and then the Seattle Storm got to come to watch. They're coming to Washington. They're going to go to the White House. Congratulations to them. They did win the championship in the bubble last year. It should have been the Las Vegas Aces. I had the Aces winning the championship, but if Derek Hamby doesn't go down with that injury, it's a different ball game. But we don't live in, it's shoulda, woulda, coulda, but it is what it is. So I can't wait to see that game tomorrow. They'll play the Seattle Storm. Della Donne will probably play like less than 20 minutes, in my opinion. Best shot to make the NBA, of course. I absolutely, Sean. Now head around the head. Hubert Davis took over as head coach. Yeah, for sure. Hubie Davis there's some expectations there now that the expectations are going to be on him sky high. But wrap this up. I don't want to keep y'all long, and I know y'all got it's tomorrow Sunday, and kind of wanted to do another topic. So there was a football coach for West Carolina University. The offensive line coach. His name was John Peacock. Died at age 32 from COVID. First and foremost, I want to send my thoughts and prayers to his family. It's kind of scary. I can't really emphasize this enough. I've talked about it with COVID. we have to be careful. I'm not going to make these assumptions was he vaccinated or not. That's not the point. The point is that yes, I just talked about that as well. This is last year at Duke. That's sad. It's last year. I actually kind of low key cried when we did this press conference, but that's neither here nor there. Again, I just encourage everybody again to just remain safe. With this new variant, and we're seeing some people get diagnosed with it. Barry Sanders tested positive for COVID. That's crazy. I just don't get it. It's just messed up. And just stay safe. With this, it's scary. Because I'm really concerned about how the NFL season is going to look with Major League Baseball. I know that the Nationals had a COVID little mini outbreak. With things starting to open up, I think things are opening up too fast, and I feel like we just need to be prepared. We just need to be aware. Wear your mask. Definitely, absolutely rock. Just live. I agree with that. Matt Lucinda, thank you for joining. I appreciate you. Definitely wear a mask. And just stay safe, man. That's all I can say. And, just, again, I just want to send my thoughts and prayers to him and his family. And, get anyone else that's lost a loved one due to COVID. This is some scary stuff, man. It really is. And I didn't talk about this a couple weeks ago, but a couple weeks ago, head coach from Florida State, Bobby Bowden, died of. He was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. He was 91. The man that definitely built Florida State into a powerhouse. 377, 129, and 4. One of the best coaches in college football. I didn't talk about him, and I should have. And again, I just want to send my thoughts and prayers out to be safe. Exactly. Thank you, Lucinda. Good point. My thoughts and prayers to him and his family. Again, last topic of the night, and then we're going to end it here. Shikari Richardson. Came in last place in a 100-meter yard dash. She definitely started out sluggish and then lost ground in the race. She had an 11.14. And then that was 4/10 of what she was running. I want to say I think it was the race that got her into the Olympics, I want to say. If y'all not aware of it, she tested positive for marijuana, and this became a whole debate. People were saying, systemic racism, saying that she was robbed of a chance to go to Tokyo, comparing this situation to Mike Phelps, even though that's comparing apples and oranges, in my opinion. Instead of just looking at it for what it was, I don't really understand today's society. I don't with accountability and just holding them accountable. Yes, she made a mistake and she'll learn and grow from it. But I think the way she went about it and kind of justified. I know her mom passed away, and I know again everybody copes with death differently, and I'm not trying to take that, and I'm not understand it. But there's a better and smarter way to deal with things. And some people, and I had a feeling this was going to happen, that the media is definitely going to go off on her because there's ammunition right now. Now, I will say this, and this was kind of alarming, not to me, but I'm all about sportsmanship, and I'm not sure what this was, but when she won the race, when the race was over, she didn't even congratulate, who was it? Thompson, hurrah. Didn't even congratulate her. Kind of just like, well, she's like to walk off. She just walked like she's wanted to walk off the track itself, and I didn't like that because to me it looked like a bag of sour grapes in my opinion. So here's the clip. Let me play that real quick for y'all. And I applaud I applaud the motivation.
This is one race. I'm not done. This is one race. I'm not done. You know what I'm capable of. Count me out if you want to. Talk all the shit you want. Because I'm here to stay. I'm not done. I'm the sixth fastest woman in this game ever. And can't nobody ever take that from me.
Just a couple point notes. I'm surprised I didn't bleep that out because she was on national television when she said that. No one's counting her out. And I just think, again, I think you had a golden opportunity to go to the Olympics, and a choice that you and a choice that you made cost you that. No one did. No, you got to hold no one to blame but yourself. But again, everybody copes with death differently, and I just want to again point this out for people to sit there and need to change that rule. That's an international Olympic rule. It's the same reason why over the past, I think, few years, why some members of the Russian Olympic Committee have been banned because of performing enhancing drugs. It's illegal to use marijuana in a period, plain and simple, in the Olympics. Can't be mad at her for being bitter. Reminds me of Cam after the Super Bowl. Her life has been basically been derailed recently, losing her mom and not going to the Olympics. Oh, I agree with that. I can't get mad at her neither, but you gotta carry yourself a little bit better because again, the media is gonna go to town with this. They are because they're gonna go in her face. Well, see, damn, like the same girl that torched the race to get into the Olympics, came in last place. And again, I told you the media dictates narratives and you can't let that. But I think also too, if you think about it, she's been on a few other commercials. In my opinion, I get the rule on pot, but it's not the same as PEDs. How would any of us have handled all that? Good point. I agree with that, Sean. Good point. No, I agree that it's not, but if it's illegal, it's illegal. That's in my opinion. That's how I look at it. But she's been in her following has increased on Instagram. She was on a commercial with Beats by Dre, and everybody, pretty much every athlete, Cardi B as well, showing her the support. So I think a lot of she's kind of benefited from all this in a sense, but I don't want to go as far as saying that she choked, but I think this was a humbling experience for her, and she will be back in 2024. I do see her being in the Olympics, but we got to be really smart, everybody, with the decisions that we make. It's just plain and simple. But you're right. If it's legal, it's legal. No doubt about it, for sure. But that's going to end. That's going to conclude episode 12 of the podcast. It's interesting. Huh. Interesting. But that's going to conclude the episode. I apologize. Something came on my phone. Y'all let me know your thoughts on the topics I touched on. You want to give me more suggestions on what I should talk about next? Feel free to leave them in the comments below. Again, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Consider hitting the subscribe button. Again, like I said, this episode 11, will be on Spotify. Oh, yes, real quick. Because the Washington Mystics, real quick, had a horrendous road series.
How do you do that? How do you do that? What the hell is going on?
And then the Baltimore Orioles, because I think they're going to lose tomorrow.
How do you do that? How do you do that? What the hell is going on?
I definitely think the Mystics will win tomorrow. They gotta come. They gotta come up with a win. They're at home. They're at home. I think with the Baltimore Orioles, they will end up having the number 1 overall pick.
How do you do that? How do you do that? What the hell is going on?
Lamar Jackson Jr. will be the number 2 quarterback behind Lamar Jackson Sr. No, let me leave Tyler Huntley alone. Tyler Huntley had a good game tonight. But I'm gonna get off, y'all. Y'all have a good
First
night.
of all, listen, it's interesting about all these young guys today. They never call on us and say, hey, thanks for the kind word and telling me how great a player I am. But when they play like crap and we call them out, we don't know what we're talking about. Listen, I'm easy to find, but I get sick of these guys complaining. These young guys, they never call us and say, when a coach is wrong, I'm going to call him out. But when players are wrong, I'm going to call them out. But listen, I'm going to criticize guys that they deserve it. And listen, they can kiss my ass if they don't like it.
How do you do that? How do you do that?